December. Donkey Kong December. Where'd you get all those bananas? Donkey Kong December. There he is.
Donkey Kong in particular, I remember battling with his mouth shape.
Donkey Kong December. Donkey Kong December. Donkey Kong December.
Donkey Kong!
December. Hit you in the head with a big old donkey. Shoot you in the head with a big old monkey. Monkey Kong December. Donkey Kong December.
Basically just took a spear and flattened it, then bent it over, and it was basically Donkey Kong's mouth.
That's Donkey Kong's mouth. Donkey Kong December. Donkey Kong December. Say I won't do it.
Walnuts, peanuts, pineapple smell, grapes, melons, oranges. Oh yeah! Hell of a guy!
Donkey Kong December. 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 Say I won't do it. Say I won't do it. Say I won't do it. I'ma do it every day. Say I won't do it. Say I won't do it. Say I won't do it. I'ma do it every day. Say I won't do it. Say I won't do it. Say I won't do it. I'ma do it every day. Say I won't do it. Say I won't do it. Donkey Kong December. Monkey Kong December. Donkey Kong December.
Oh yeah!
1964, Nintendo Company is funny. Their latest toy, called the Rabbit Coaster, allows you to race 4 jelly beans down a slide. I guess that the beans are supposed to be rabbits. It looks pretty fun. Their next toy was called Picture Cutter. Players are given weird scissors that they can cut pieces of paper with. This is like the toys they had in the Great Depression. Nintendo had all these contraptions, like this little bowling game. The Nintendo Ultra Hand, the stupid-ass hip flip. They had a toy called Ellie Conga. The original version of Duck Hunt would project little ducks onto your wall. The Ultra Machine would pitch you little T-balls. With this combination of innovation and electronic know-how, it only made sense for Nintendo to embrace the emerging industry of video games, and in 1978, Nintendo released their first tabletop arcade machine called Block Fever. It's just a rip-off of Breakout. Very obviously just ripped it off. Then they did a game called Space Launcher. They were ripping off of Space Invaders on this one. And the promo art featured TIE fighters from Star Wars. And no way did they pay for the license. 1980, the president of Nintendo calls up everybody in the company on a big phone and he says, "Today we are going apeshit with the release of our new video game, Monkey Magic." Reggie of America was blown away. He ordered 3,000 units to be shipped to the United States the next day. But then he actually played the game and he said, "This was the biggest mistake of my whole career. There isn't even a fucking monkey in this game. And it's just ripping off a Breakout again." So, to fix their shitty game, Nintendo hired a guy called Nintendo Miyamoto, who teamed up with Gunpei Yokoi, inventor of the Nintendo Love Tester. With their powers combined, these two came up with the idea that they should add a monkey to the game. Except, Miyamoto had absolutely zero experience in developing a video game. Other than doing the music, the only semi-relevant skill he brought to the table were his illustrations, and even then, his talents were dubious at best. When Reggie asked Miyamoto to change the main character from a monkey into a donkey, Miyamoto replied, "Okay, here is the concept art of the new character Donkey Kong." And still to this day, this is what Miyamoto thinks a donkey looks like. During its extremely short development cycle, Miyamoto had to learn from the ground up how a video game was actually created. As the game's director, pretty much all he did was bounce ideas off the 4 programmers, asking them, "Can we do this? How hard is it to do this? That's impossible? What if we do this?" Why? Why was this completely unproven man selected to direct an $800,000 video game? Well, because he had won a contest. Maybe it was his lack of context that pushed them to do ideas they normally wouldn't, or maybe the programmers were just really good and Miyamoto kept egging them on. Whatever happened, the end result was the most complex game ever created up to that point.
You can't get hooked on it.
Are you?
Yeah.
In many ways, Donkey Kong was a breakthrough title. It wasn't just the first Donkey Kong game, it wasn't just the first Mario game, it was the first platformer. It was the first game to have a character running and jumping over obstacles. It was the second game to have distinct stages or levels. Before, Donkey Kong games would just repeat one stage at varying speeds and difficulties. Even though it also looped, Donkey Kong stages were stitched together with cutscenes and various melodies featuring an actual conclusion to its story. Playing Donkey Kong today, you notice that this game is fucked up. If Mario falls 3 feet, he will die to fall damage.
That kills you?
And he's very slow, but the obstacles are extremely fast and erratic, and they kill you in one hit. Most players are too afraid to even leave the spawn area, but then a flame enemy crawls out of the oil and chases you up the screen like a motherfucker type of guy. It is such a brutal, unforgiving game, but the stratospheric difficulty also heightens the drama of it all. In this one image, Donkey Kong tells an entire story. You have Donkey Kong all the way at the top floor. He's the CEO, okay? He gets the lady, and he spends his days just fucking around, laughing and chucking barrels. Then you have Mario. He's a blue-collar guy. He probably built the building that Donkey Kong's standing on. He starts all the way down at the bottom and has to go through hell, literally climbing up the ladder of success one floor at a time. And when he finally reaches the top, what does Donkey Kong do? He jumps up 50 floors in 3 seconds. This game is about life. After the smash success of Donkey Kong, Nintendo went from aping other games to being copied themselves, spawning a wave of imitators and knockoffs. There was Jumpman for the Commodore 64. I really like the sound effect when he climbs the ladder in this game. EA's first game was a knockoff called Hard Hat Mac, which is described as a 3-stage game without an ape. Crazy Kong was actually an officially licensed clone because Nintendo couldn't keep up with hardware demand. Listen to the sound when he jumps. Did Crazy Kong invent Mario's voice? Congo Bongo switched up the whole perspective and had some really fancy graphics for its time. Killer Gorilla was developed by one 17-year-old. I feel like Chris Pratt should have voiced this version of Mario instead. Wally Kong. This game broke all barriers. It said, okay, I know we have a giant gorilla on the box art, but what if when you got in the game, you actually have to face off against a little doggy? In Logger, you went up against a big bird. In Monkey Business, you went up against a man. On the Spectrum, there was one called Kong, but then there was another one called Crazy Kong, but then there was another one called Killer Kong. This one was strictly for all the freak jobs out there in this world. Look at his little smile. Little bastard, what is he smiling about? What did this Donkey Kong do? Donkey Monkey, wait, what the fuck? Why does he have a piano? Donkey King had barrels of fun, but Monkey Kong had the funniest name of any video game. For ape craze, they really had to scale back the budget on the Donkey Kong. Mario's Brewery was the first game to answer the question of why there were so many barrels falling down the building. In its first year, Donkey Kong generated $180 million for Nintendo. For many developers, a success like that would have been the pinnacle of their career. For Miyamoto, it was just one minor step onto far greater works. Donkey Kong would receive 2 arcade sequels, but it wouldn't be until 13 years later that the series got its next major installment, with an absolutely massive successor that made the original look like a demo. This game would be called Donkey Kong. On top of all the unofficial ports, there were also tons of official versions. Donkey Kong for Atari, Game & Watch, and television, Coleco Tabletop. The one I had was Donkey Kong for the NES, which is where this song comes from. By 1994, there were 300 video games called Donkey Kong, all of which were heavily based on the original 1981 arcade game. So, to be funny, Nintendo put out a new game called Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, and when you boot it up, it just seems like another arcade port. Classic opening level, conveyor belt 1, the pies will kill you on this level. Spring 1, that spring is fucked up, watch out for that. And then stage 4, boom, you beat the game. Except, you didn't beat shit. That was just the intro. There is actually 97 more levels after that. How fucked up is that? The entire Donkey Kong arcade game is just a tiny intro segment in a Game Boy game. Looking back today, it's insane how many ideas and mechanics they crammed into this game. New Donk City, that's from this game. The Tiny Mushroom in New Super Mario Bros., that's from this game. And Captain Toad, you can smash through blocks with a hammer, that's from this game. The double jump and the somersault from Mario 64, that's from this game. Except you do a cool handstand in this one. That shit is insane. It feels like such a fancy mechanic, and yet it stems from a Game Boy game. The attention to detail is absurd. Mario reaches his little hand out to grab onto a vine. He can get squashed, stomped, burned, drowned. He can pass his hammer from floor to floor to his own self. If he falls from a medium height, he'll do a roll. He can swing on monkey bars. There's a power-up that lets you spawn in ladders or bridges. Just like the original, the game's success would propel its co-director's career. Takao Shimizu would go on to direct Star Fox 64, Pokemon Stadium, and eventually Super Mario Sunshine. In 1994, Donkey Kong fans were living large. Not only did they get one of the best Game Boy titles ever produced, but in that same year, they would also receive one of the best Super Nintendo titles ever produced, a video game that would take the entire country by storm. And even other countries too. It was released in multiple territories. Even back in the 80s, Donkey Kong was flipping the whole script on this weak-ass industry. The arcade sequel, Donkey Kong Jr., had you going up against Mario, who was now the villain of the game. But in the 90s, Nintendo was shipping DK all the way off to England, where Rareware was going to revitalize the baboon for a new generation. Donkey Kong Country. When two real gamers see each other in the street and they start talking about real games, this is the games they're talking about. Before Last of Us 2, before Metal Gear Solid 2, and Donkey Kong Country 2 took the main character of the game and said, nope, you don't get to play as that guy, even though the name of the game is Donkey Kong Country. And you know what? You don't get to play as Diddy Kong now. Go play as Baby Kong. No, you know what? You don't even play as monkeys anymore. Now you're a fucking elephant. What's stupid about this game is that they put this song right at the start. Why would I even play any levels when I can just listen to this song already? Funky Kong going crazy on the stand-up bass, but then some fucked up guy comes in on the piano and he says, But eventually you do start the game, and you know why? Because this whole game is non-stop fucking Mongo jams. These soundtracks, no, they can't be done, but somehow they were. Level 1, the drums start fading in over this jungle ambience. Then the second drum comes in. Then Funky Kong. Boom, 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 boom. But then the bass transforms into, oh shit. But then it reverts back into, this level is a whole different story. You hear those water drips echoing through the cave so naturally the instruments weave into the background and then they disappear like a magic trick. Every 30 seconds, this song morphs into something else. For this song, I am like a pirate now. What I love so much about these Donkey Kong soundtracks is how they disconnect the idea of excitement from loudness. This music is exciting. It's catchy, but it's also pretty quiet. They're jamming out with their eyes on the decibel level, never allowing the subtle trickery to be swallowed into a cacophony. Forest Interlude. This song sounds like a mystic golem just woke up from a 300-year nap and started doing the robot. The bonus room song is genius because the real bonus is that you get to hear this song. When you go to Wrinkly Kong's house, she's playing Nintendo 64, and if you listen, you can hear what game she's playing. With the level Bramble Scramble, the developers knew you would be stuck in that bullshit level for 10 hours, so they went, okay, well, we better put a really good song here because you're gonna hear it like 3,000 times. Then you got these joyous, celebratory tracks. This is like the music that plays when you meet Santa Claus in heaven and he gives you $1 million. The sounds are so lush, with such luxurious instrumentation. Listen to that. Oh, that's nice. Oh, what's that? Oh, I love it. In this song, the mood starts like, nope, you can't do this. But then the drums kick in, and then you're like, I can do this. Flight of the Singer goes the opposite way. You start off like, hell yeah, let's do this. Then the piano comes in. I feel like you could give these musicians some sticks and a blade of grass, and they could turn that into an album. They turn fucking monkey sounds into an instrument. Any song with a bass line, that's a done deal, okay? They got every song on this game. They got... And you know, the graphics and the gameplay is good too. By 1997, this music way too fucking loud. Can we turn this down? Can we? Thanks. By 1997, Rare had successfully reinvented Donkey Kong for a new generation of gamers. Their latest game, Diddy Kong Racing, even had the character Shit Pig in it. Can you believe that? He would actually shit and piss all over the race course. I thought I did a video for that one, but then maybe I uploaded it to the wrong channel, I think. Donkey Kong fans were living so large, and they were about to receive one of the largest video games yet. Donkey Kong 64. This game is big. Yeah. This game is so big that it came with a thing that you plug into the console to make it run the game. Donkey Kong 64 was the first and only 3D platformer in the series, but it's also an unofficial sequel to Banjo-Kazooie. This is Banjo-Kazooie, okay? Very compact and exciting. This is Donkey Kong 64. In this game, there is 200 golden bananas, 40 enemies, 10 crowns, 6 boss keys, 20 banana fairies, 40 banana medals, 40 blueprints, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types of replenishable ammunition, 9 levels, each with 5 pairs of teleporter pads and 100 color-coded bananas for each character. There are 5 playable characters. Each character has their own gun, their own instrument, and their own special abilities that have to be unlocked with 15 monkey coins. Developers of this game, what the fuck? The only way to reach the end credits of this game is to commit your life to Donkey Kong 64. There are real world countries that are smaller than the levels in this game. If you are the type of person who has to keep track of where everything is in a video game, Donkey Kong 64 will drop you into a coma. The levels are so segmented, there is so much backtracking, but if you're really willing to dig for it, there is some funny stuff in here.
Here we go.
What the fuck is this? A domino with domino feet?
Walnuts, peanuts.
Hazelnuts, cashews, almonds, pecans.
When Donkey Kong sees a banana, it goes...
Oh, banana.
When Donkey Kong gets a banana, it goes... Donkey Kong. When you beat a minigame, the announcer goes...
Well done.
When you shoot this thing with a peanut, it goes... The atmosphere, the sound effects, the music, this is where DK64 really delivers. This is the only game where you can play as the famous character Lanky Kong. Why does he say Opla? And you can even play as the iconic character Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, what are you doing? Donkey Kong, you have no powers. You can't even press down a switch that has your own face on it. The handstand from DK94 is in the game. The original arcade game from DK94 is in the game, and it's fucking impossible, and you have to beat it twice. This is gonna be such a good prize I get. There it is.
I don't know what the fuck that does.
In every 3 seconds of gameplay, the minecart level introduces a new way for Donkey Kong to be killed.
What is this? No, what is that? No! What the fuck is... Stop that! What the fuck?
There is a slide race minigame against a beetle, and you can punch the beetle before the race starts, so I did, but then this happened.
Stupid ass beetle. I hate this. Whoa! What the fuck?
This is the first game in the series to illustrate the physical toll it takes on Donkey Kong to be launched out of a barrel.
Now Donkey Kong likes this, don't... I know it sounds like he's dying.
There is a million minigames in this. There's this shit-ass one where you have to win a slot machine within a time limit.
Get out.
There's one where you have to do the fly swatter game from Mario Paint. At the end of the game, there is like a 30-minute timed gauntlet of challenges, and if you fuck it up, you have to do the entire thing over again. I'm pretty sure when I was a little kid, I just cried and gave up at this part.
It's fucking counting down while it's showing me this dumb fucking cutscene. Stop dancing. It's counting down, Chunky Kong.
The final boss battle is a fucking 10-hour extravaganza. Donkey Kong has to shoot himself out of a barrel at K. Rool so that Diddy Kong can jetpack up to the lights and drop one on his head so that Tiny Kong can go inside of his shoe and fight his toes. And after all that, after everything you've done in this game, all of the bullshit you have endured, the only reason you win is because K. Rool gets distracted by Booby Kong's boobs and then Funky Kong shoots him in the butt with a rocket launcher. This is the essence of Donkey Kong 64. My boys out there in England took DK to a whole nother level, but now it was time for him to come back home because shitty Microsoft bought Rare and fucked it all up with their stupid ass micro shit. Meanwhile, Nintendo was building a new 65-man studio in the video game capital of the world, Tokyo. They were right there on the industry's doorstep now, and they started bringing in people from Sega, Koei, and Square Enix. Donkey Kong Jungle Beat was their debut game. Yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did. Donkey Kong Rhythm Game, where you play on a bongo drum GameCube controller. Before Guitar Hero, before Rock Band, there was Donkey Konga.
Donkey Konga!
I had this game as a kid, and let me tell you, this game hurts to play, specifically the clapping. The next time you're listening to music, try and see how long you can clap along before your hands are in pain. It'll probably take like one song. Maybe this is why Donkey Konga starts you out by playing actual baby nursery rhymes. Mixed in with the Pokemon theme song and the alphabet song from the Kids Bop are musicians like Blink-182, the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Patsy Cline, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Old McDonald, that dude that had a farm. Of course, when you got a game about jamming out on bongos, of course you gotta have Tito Puente and Santana on there. These are the monster jams of this game. That and the Donkey Konga theme, which will burn your fucking house to the ground. Donkey Kong is famous for his good soundtrack, so it was only natural for him to star in his own rhythm game. But what came next was very unnatural and fucked up. Some dude called Bongo Koizumi looked at that controller and said, I can make a platformer for this. And the craziest thing about this game is that it actually works. Where Donkey Kong Country was subtle and atmospheric, Jungle Beat was fucking crazy and loud as hell. There is a Tony Hawk style combo system where the more tricks you do, the higher your multiplier goes, and your score is your health bar. I don't know why no other platformer has ever tried to do something like this, but it is genius. Even playing the Wii version, it is a very physical game. You can lose weight playing this game, okay? At the end of the level, Donkey Kong starts grabbing 1 trillion bananas, and then it zooms in on his face and goes, oh shit! Now you gotta fight Sumo Kong to death in a boxing match in outer space. This is the most violent, killingest, over-the-top, and exhausting Donkey Kong game there is. Instead of Funky Kong, you had Dread Kong. Instead of Booby Kong, you had Gloat Hog. And for this reason, the game was a commercial failure. But actually, it was probably because people thought you had to have the bongo to play it. I had the bongo for Donkey Konga, and I never had this game. I never even heard of it. Even though it didn't sell any copies, Jungle Beat did eventually turn into another Donkey Kong success story because a lot of the ideas and mechanics from this game were refined and reused in the studio's next game, Super Mario Galaxy. The flower, that's from Jungle Beat. The bumblebees, that's from Jungle Beat. The leech enemies, that's Jungle Beat. The vine swinging, that's from Jungle Beat. The green fruits that you punch, Jungle Beat. Ice skating, that's from Jungle Beat. The bubble part, that's from Jungle Beat. The fish are from Jungle Beat. Even though the game itself was only a minor success, I love it for jump-starting what is, in my opinion, the greatest video game studio of all time. Mario Galaxy 1, Mario Galaxy 2, 3D Land, 3D World, Captain Toad, Mario Odyssey, Bowser's Fury. Time and time again, the studio has reinvented itself, making creative masterworks every step of the way, and you can trace that whole line of incredible titles all the way back to Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. 2008. Once again, Donkey Kong was leaving Japan, and this time he was going to America. But just like King Kong himself, it was this very land that would become his tomb. Donkey Kong Frozen Ape is an incredible platformer, plus the fact it was only $50, what a steal. Unlike their Metroid games, which reinvented the series in 3D, Retro's Donkey Kong games were more about sanding off the rough edges and refining everything that was great about the Super Nintendo games. Incredible graphics, beautiful music, creative level design, intense boss fights, it was all here again in Tropical Freeze. Look at the meticulousness in the sliding mechanics. You could just go for the default slide, very fun, or you could try to resist the sliding. Donkey Kong will struggle to go back up a hill and then he slides down on his stomach. If you hold left though, he'll actually use his feet to push against the slide. Donkey Kong will dive into water. Now look at him swimming. He paddles his little monkey feet. The character animation, the physics of it, it's just so fancy. You gotta love it. That attention to detail is everywhere in Tropical Freeze. This is up there with Luigi's Mansion 3 as one of the best looking games on the Switch, even though it was actually a Wii U game. The levels in this, you know what I'm saying? Look at how good they look. Whenever I'm just shooting through a level, I feel guilty, like I'm not getting time to appreciate all the little details and the scenery. Look at this boat. Goodbye. The strategic lighting of the silhouette levels, the flowing, shifting camera work of the minecart levels. The hidden animals in the background. Look at that goat. They didn't have to put that goat there. There's probably like 7 players who noticed that goat. More than just looking good though, the levels provide visual context for what you're actually platforming on. In the fall level, you jump up the falling leaves. Look at that woodpecker. He'll jump on a turtle's shell to cross over water. Juicy Jungle has this story thread kind of bridging each level together. In level 1, you see how they pick the fruit off the trees. Next level shows you how they extract the juice from the fruits. Then they start turning that into jello, and then they turn the jello into popsicles. It's really just the circle of life. I love the levels in this game, but we can't talk about Donkey Frog Frozen Grape without talking about the music. For this one, they made a wise decision because they brought back David Wise and he turned into a psychopathic murderer and killed every track on this game. Canopy Chaos. This song is like a hoedown for millionaires. When you jump in the water and that piano comes in, you don't ever want to get out of the water again. Zipline Shrine. For most of this song, the bass is just kind of lurking in the background until it finally gets a chance to jump out at you. Busted by you, oh my god. If you don't like this song, your speakers are busted. That's the only explanation. It's like the instruments are playing hot potato. The guitar passes it over to the flute. Flute passes it to the steel drums. Steel drums pass it over to some Stevie Wonder sounding synthesizer. Synth passes it to the acoustic guitar. And the guitar passes it to the saxophone. The soundtrack is just pure magic the whole way through, just like the environments. The music is so full of little details and embellishments, and just like the environments, the soundtrack will sometimes sync and merge with the gameplay. My favorite part is when Donkey Kong enters this giant horn and the wind shooting through it propels him into the air. This part is my shit. From Japan to England to America, the Donkey Kong series is an international labor of love. Every studio that stepped up put in 300% effort, and that's why the real deal gamers are still out here looking for that next game. Sadly, Retro Studios' next game never seemed to materialize until 5 years later when it was announced they would be working on Metroid Prime 4. Donkey Kong was left forgotten in a dusty old closet inside of an abandoned warehouse that got knocked over. Nintendo never made another Donkey Kong game ever again. And that's the end of Donkey Kong December. Forever. Merry Christmas, Donkey Kong. You're dead.
Super Donkey Kong Shake